Hello everyone, this is Sean Ray with Sean Ray Realty and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Airbnb ban in Dallas, and the update and what you can do. There's 3 easy things you can do right now if you're a current Airbnb owner. Plus I'm going to touch on what you can do if you're trying to get into Airbnb owning in Dallas. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe if you like this content, and let's get into it. Okay, I'm not gonna take too much time going over everything that's going on in Dallas right now with the Airbnb. I have previous videos that go over that, but I do wanna go over what you should do if you currently are an Airbnb owner and you need to pull that parachute and you need to do your exit strategy. If you're new to the channel, I know it might seem weird because you just started learning about how to do real estate and now I'm talking about, hey, how to get rid of your real estate. But this has been a conversation I've been having on this channel for years. Well, on the previous channel I had and now this new one, is it's all about the exit strategy. You go into something knowing that how do I make money on my way out in case anything happens. I thought it was going to be Airbnb going belly under just in case, just the worst case scenario. I never actually thought that it would be Dallas going like, screw you guys, we're not going to allow any kind of business here anymore. So that's unfortunate, but we already planned for something like this. So if you're currently an Airbnb owner, these are the 3 steps you can do. If you have no risk tolerance at all, then what you could do is just sell your property. And selling your property is not that bad. I've talked to you guys about it before, but as long as it covers your closing costs and everything like that, if you've been making money on your home for 6 months, a year, whatever it happens to be, and you end up walking out of your house with a bunch of furniture and a $70,000 to $100,000 of revenue over the course of the year, and you sell your home for the exact same price that you got into it, that's a great deal. Like it's fine. You still made a good amount of money, made extra income for the year. It's a little bit of a headache, a little bit of a pain in the butt, but that's the risk you take whenever you start business. And ultimately you walked away with your first business potentially in the first year, walking away with profit in the worst case scenario. That's awesome. Start a business, walk away in a year, made money. Great. Better case scenario is you've had the home for more than a year and you most likely have a lot of appreciation in it, in equity. And so when you sell it, you have all the furniture that you can still get money off of, and you can also sell your home for a profit, but we're talking about $50,000 to $100,000 profit. And so you made your income over 2 years, $70,000 to $100,000, whatever happens it might be. Plus you make this purchase, or you make the sell, and boom, you're stacking cash. And you put that into whatever stock market that you think is, down, is going to bounce back up because the market's down right now, or hold on to it and we'll see what's going on with this, crash that supposedly is happening or is about to happen. And you can capitalize on things during that time. So ultimately, step 1 is really not that bad, or option 1 is really not that bad. You end up making great money. Now 2, if you want to take a little bit more risk, is that you can rent your home flat, kind of what I'm doing. I'm renting one of my many Airbnbs just to test to see how it's going. Right now, the rental rates up are really high. My mortgage on this one called Star Street, it's like $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 a month, something like that. And I have it listed for $3,000. Plus, if you want to do it fully furnished, then it's going to be like an extra $500 a month. And so I can make a pretty good amount of revenue. After you take away the Airbnb managing fees and paying all the utilities and all the upkeep and stuff like that, the difference between making a $1,500 profit or so on this property or making a $2,000 profit on it after all the Airbnb BS is really not that big of a difference for me. And at that point, I can hold on to this property. And then what happens if Airbnb, all this banning crap is gone in 6 months to a year and we work something out, we grandfather in or some kind of stuff like that, then I still got this property. Then I'm like, okay, cool. I made a year of decent profit on it. Now I'll put it back on Airbnb and be good to go. And there should be hopefully less competition at that time because it's going to filter out a lot of Airbnb hosts. So if you have a property that makes sense for long-term rental, which it should have whenever we bought it, if we're working with together, then I always try to buy properties with my clients that would make sense for long-term rentals if this were to happen. So you guys should be good. And option 3. Option 3 is a little crazy, but you got to be crazy to make crazy money. I have some clients right now that are coming to me and saying, hey, the current homes we're under, we don't want to be in them anymore. We want to try to buy single family homes that are long-term. It's sad to hear it because, basically they went from having the mentality of let's retire the next 5 to 10 years to now they want to buy these $200,000 single family homes that they're going to make a couple $100 on a month that is going to retire them in, I don't know, never. But if they buy like 100 of them, then maybe they can get retired. But in, I don't know, 60 years, 50 years, who knows, 30 years. So it's sad. The risk tolerance has now dropped dramatically for some of these people that were on their path to being very successful in Airbnb. So don't be one of those people. But the other people that are willing to take the higher risk, they're looking at this as like, ooh, this is a great opportunity. Option 3, I like this option 3. That means all the people that are not doing this as like a business are going to get out. That means the mom and pop that are renting the place out on the weekends, that are going to pay for their mortgage. Now they won't be able to pay for the mortgage. Thanks, Dallas. But no, they're going to back out because they're not willing to take the risk. That person that just took every last credit line and every last dollar to buy their first Airbnb, and they just started hitting 7 to 10K a month on it, and they started being super successful, and they're super excited about it. Now it's banned. Oh, thanks, Dallas. Now this person just invested everything into it, and now they got to get all their stuff out. It's going to be a nightmare. But they probably are high risk for getting out. You know who's not high risk for getting out? Super business-minded people. They look at this situation as a great opportunity. They think of all these homes that are just going to get off of Airbnb. We're talking about in Dallas alone, this will probably cover 50 to 60% of listings, potentially even more. And all those listings that are the actual bad listings, the nuisance listings that have like 50 or 10 to 50 listings under that LLC, but the LLC has 20 LLCs under it, and there are a lot of times out-of-state investors, and those are the party houses, and that's the problem that we have right now in Dallas, not the individual owners. These people are the ones that are looking at this with like, give me that, please. Because now they're going to take up all these discounted Airbnbs, and they could probably purchase it with the furniture in it, and they're going to keep going. And then they're going to try to get fined by the local government, and they can't have a real way of, like, there's 20 LLCs under LLCs that hide things under umbrellas, and they're going to have their own lawyers working on their individual rights, and they're going to say, screw it. The amount of money that we're going to make just because the market is completely flattened and now we are the go-to, the only spots in town, they're going to make so much money that they're going to say, we'll pay the fines, or we'll just avoid paying the fines, or whatever it happens to be. We're going to capitalize on this opportunity for as long as possible. We assume that Dallas is not going to have their crap together because they never have before. And how are they going to regulate it? How are they going to find us? How are they going to fine us? Like, who's going to implement this stuff? You know what was during the meeting when it was asked, how are you going to implement it? How are you going to find it? How are you going to regulate it? The answer was, we have no idea. As of right now, Dallas has no clue how they're going to find, regulate, and fine the current Airbnb operators. So get scared, sell your stuff, run away. But big businesses will come in and take your place and take your properties and keep doing what you're doing, and they're going to make money instead of you. Unfortunately, this doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit you, and it also doesn't benefit the neighbors that are currently upset about the reason why they're trying to ban it, which is poorly mismanaged properties with loud noise BS. These people don't care about their neighborhood. They don't care about their neighbors, and they don't care about their properties or property maintenance. They just are trying to make money. So the problem that got us here is going to get way worse. And the people that are preventing it from getting worse are going to get out of the game. And that means you will end up losing money. What should you do, though? Do whatever you feel comfortable with. If you don't want to get started right now, go to another city. And if you don't want to do that, you want to do a long term, it's whatever. Find your level of risk. Take advantage of the situation, and don't be scared. When people are losing money is when other people make the most amount of money. Always remember that. Fear is what separates successful people from average people, and don't be average. If you were, you wouldn't be watching this channel. Last thing I'll say is, for those people that are doing rental arbitrage, I got nothing for you, man. I really don't. They said that anything that is rented under 30 days is going to be zoned as a hotel, and not the actual occupant unit, the apartment or the entire house or the whatever it is. It's the land use, so the actual land that it's sitting on. And so if it's an apartment is not a hotel. If it's not a hotel, it's zoned as a hotel. And so if it's not zoned as a hotel, I don't know what you can do. You're probably going to end up having to break your leases, but there's lease break fees, and there's 1 month or 2 month free concessions you got to pay back, and you got to get all that furniture out of there and store it somewhere, because if you have 10 units, I don't know what you're going to do, but I would recommend going and talking to Sean Rakajich on his channel, Airbnb Automated, or now Sean Rakajich, and maybe he can help you. It's brainstorming session, guys, so let's get to work. Thank you guys so much for watching the channel. Make sure to see me in the comments below. I want to see your feedback. If you have an idea for another video, or I didn't cover something in this video that you want to be covered, I'm more than happy to do it. I have the studio set up now, so I can do much more videos at higher frequency. Only thing I'm missing is a good audio setup. I'm using my girlfriend's voice memo on Instagram, or not on Instagram, but on her iPhone. So as you can tell, the audio is important. So if you guys know anything about Rode mics, if you know how to get this thing set up appropriately, I Googled it and I tried to figure it, and they told me to buy this, and it still doesn't work, and there's an adapter, and I don't know. If you guys are smart, I'm not tech savvy, but if you guys are smart, then comment below, help me out, and get my audio better. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you guys stay successful. Don't be scared. Let's do this. All right. Thanks, guys.